I have $10,000 and my goal is to turn them into $10 million using years of experience in data science and AI by creating as much value as possible and by building real, legit businesses from scratch. Towards my journey to 10 million, I will be giving half of that back to the community along the way to help you fund your own projects, side hustles and businesses, donate to charitable causes you care about, or simply have some fun with it. In this video, I'll explain my step-by-step plan of how we are going to get there, as well as what is the timeline of this project. We'll talk about all the different ventures we're going to go after, what exactly you can expect to see on this channel, and how you can gain as much value as possible from this type of videos. If you stick to the end of the video, I'll also tell you how you can directly get involved in this project through the community and how you can get access to the community funds as early as next month. But before we do any of that, let me very briefly explain a few things about my background, where I come from, and how my experience might help us on our journey to achieving this very ambitious goal. I don't want to bore you, so I'll try to do this in less than a minute. So, I'm currently working as a research associate in a robotics and machine learning lab, but not for long since I'm about to send my resignation notice right now actually. There, I'll stop working for this company by the end of this month. Although this was kind of a dream job for me, I had to quit, but that's a story for another day. So as I was saying, I have more than 6 years of experience both in academia as well as industry, mostly around machine learning, artificial intelligence, and entrepreneurship. I'm currently pursuing my PhD around this topic approximately, which might prove useful as well in the future, but more about that later. For the past 15 years, I've experimented with multiple projects and businesses. Most of them failed, some of them succeeded. One of them, my latest startup, even got to an accelerator program, gained some traction, but unfortunately in the end, that didn't work out either. And now we're here. For the most part, I know what went wrong with most of my previous ventures, because you see, from failure comes wisdom and resilience. In addition to that, I now have a ton of technical experience in using machine learning and AI for research, development, and even entrepreneurship. And I plan to combine all of that and give it my everything to this exciting new project, while being fully transparent and sharing the entire journey with you. Okay, that's enough about me. Now let's get back to the plan. There are 6 different categories of projects you can expect to see on this channel, and all of them will have data, AI, and technology at the core. It's important to understand that this channel is not just about theory. We are actually going to try everything hands-on, build from scratch, see what works and what doesn't. Let me share an example from each category so you get a general idea for each one. Starting with content creation, right now I'm using data and AI to analyze thousands of YouTube videos to see which ones get more traction and why. This experiment is going to help us improve the quality of our own YouTube channel quickly, but it's worth it. E-commerce. You've already seen my first video about trying to become a star seller on Etsy in less than a month using data and AI. If you haven't watched that video, click here to watch it, because I really think that the process was quite interesting to follow and you might find something valuable at that video as well. Now I'm working on my next goal, which is to turn my store into a sustainable business for the long term. From the comments I got on my last Etsy video, I saw that many of you found the process and the findings very interesting and started your own Etsy stores, which is amazing. This is what I want to be seeing happening from my videos, actually starting new businesses. Hopefully this series will continue to provide value back to you and help you with your own projects and side hustles. By the way, I've decided to share the link to my Etsy store on the description below, so if you're interested, check that out as well. I'm currently running an experiment around Valentine's Day on my Etsy store, and if the results of that experiment are interesting, I'm going to be sharing them on a future video as well, so stay tuned for that. Next category, community. My first project on this category is about scraping thousands of Patreon pages from other content creators to see how much money they make on average, what benefits they offer to their members, what value they offer to their members, and other useful information like that. This experiment will help you understand what exactly to expect from your own Patreon page if you're a creator, and how you can provide as much value as possible back to your own members. Okay, this video is becoming quite long, so let's speed things up a little bit. So next category is finance. Currently, I started reading this book over here, to learn how you can properly apply machine learning to the world of finance for investing, trading, and other interesting things like that. When I do, I'll experiment with it, and of course I'll share everything with you. I'll also probably make a tool that you can use as well without having to code anything. Speaking of tools, the next category is development. So I asked you whether I should create an online tool with all the projects I show on this channel that you could use. To my surprise, about 80% of you said yes, so that is what I will be doing in the near future. In this category, I'll also experiment with video game and app development and share the entire process with you, as well as tell you how much money is possible to be made as an indie developer or as a developer with a small team. The last category is physical and startups. This category is by far the most difficult one to experiment with, but it's also the most exciting one, because there really isn't a lot of transparency around topics like how can we get into mass retail stores, or something like what is the actual process and journey of raising venture capital and other juicy stuff like that. Well, I really don't like that. That's why I will also be taking you along my journey on my next startup as well. As you probably noticed by now, this is a lot and quite ambitious. So I do not plan to be rushing it, and I do not plan to be making all of this alone. Instead, my goal is to slowly build a capable team over the next year, which would allow me or us to gradually pick up more challenging projects. And now for the moment you've all been waiting for, or simply skip to, how can you get involved as part of the community, and how can you get access to the community funds? As a reminder, these funds are to help you out with your own side hustles, projects and businesses, but could also be used for education, charity, or other small fun projects you might have. To get started with the community fund, 100% of the revenue made from my Patreon subscriptions over the next 6 months is going to go back directly into supporting projects that come out of our community. Speaking of, you can become a member on our Patreon page, as well as join our Discord server to continue the conversation as part of the community there as well. It's important to note that to be eligible to receive funds from this project, you must be a member of our Patreon page as well as our Discord server. Depending on the kind of funding opportunity, you will probably have to pitch your own project or business directly at the community. Then it's up to the community itself to vote the best ones. And then it's up to my team, currently only yours truly, to decide which projects get funded. The entire process, of course, is going to be 100% transparent and will be shared on this channel as well. By the way, as a member of our Patreon page, in addition to eligibility for funding, you'll also get access to the Portfolio of Hustles software suite, which is currently being developed, and I expect to release it sometime in Q2. You'll also get access to exclusive AMAs, Discord channel benefits, voting rights for which projects the community is going to fund. And of course, if your project you are working on is interesting and the community likes it and it's amongst the top, then we're going to share it on this channel as well. As I said, I'm currently running a lot of experiments for Patreon, so I expect to change my Patreon page quite a lot over the next few months to provide as much value as possible back to you people. If you have any feedback, of course, they are always welcome, because you know we're building this from scratch, so everything is open to change. And there you go, this is the plan. If you are on board, subscribe on this channel and like this video to spread the message. I also need to emphasize that regardless whether you choose to subscribe on my Patreon page or not, my priority will always be to provide as much value as possible to as many people as possible through this channel. Yeah, we're just getting started, so I'll see you when I see you. Until then, stay hungry, stay foolish. Okay, bye.